Welcome to SVG-TV News for Wednesday, June 22nd, 2022. I am Rochelle Batiste with the details. The government is rolling out the bank card distribution program as part of its plan to streamline volcano and COVID-19 relief payments. 4,700 families are set to receive financial assistance in the amount of $300 to $600 Eastern Caribbean dollars a month for 6 months starting July 1st, 2022. The income support payments are being made by way of a loan from the World Bank in the amount of $11.5 million Eastern Caribbean dollars to assist residents in the red, orange, and yellow zones. On NBC Radio Face-to-Face program today, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves says the bank cards, which will be given to only one individual of each household, were distributed from Tuesday.
Over the weekend, they had already prepared with the bank 3,392 cards. So they have another 608 which they're finalizing. And they started to distribute yesterday in North Central, in Georgetown, in Park Hill, in South Rivers, and for Chester Byra, Connery, down in Connery. They distributed just over 900 cards yesterday. They were scheduled to do 1,132. They will do more than that in North Windward. And they're going to North Windward today. In relation to the remainder in North Central, they're calling around persons because they have the numbers, people whom they didn't get yesterday. And today, they're going to Sandy Bay. They're going to be at the Gospel Hall Chapel. They're going to be at the clinic in Fancy. They're going to be at the Salt Pond office in Oya. They're going to be by the Orange Hill Plainfield area and also centrally in Langley Park.
Out of the 4,700 families, 700 persons from the Green Zone and the Grenadines are set to receive COVID-19 relief by way of a loan from the Caribbean Development Bank. PM Gonsalves says the distribution process continues on Thursday.
Can get them. And tomorrow, they're going to Rose Hall School down North Leeward. They're going to the Rosebank Community Center. They're going to the Trumuka Methodist Church and the Chateaubelair Methodist Church. That's on Thursday. I don't want the people in Coleshill and Spring Village to go to those places, any of those places, because on Friday, they're going to go to Coleshill by the Methodist Church and the Spring Village up by the Community Center area. This particular 4,000 card distribution plus the 700, in fact, they're already in the process of identifying the families for the COVID 700 in the green area, the green zone, and down in the Grenadines.
Of the 35 fishers who will be displaced by the Kingston Port Modernization Project, 20 have so far accepted government's compensation package. This was revealed by Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves while speaking on NBC Face-to-Face program today. Some Rose Place fishermen have been up in arms about being evicted from the beach, claiming that government has left them stranded with nowhere to go. The fishermen told SVG-TV News that they were hesitant to accept the compensation package as they had not yet found a beach to relocate to. The compensation package being offered by government includes a relocation allowance of $400, $2,400 for crew allowance, and $13,000 for vessel improvement. PM Gonsalves says he believes that more will sign with government to receive the compensation.
You think 20 of them have signed agreements in relation to their money, and some have collected. The minimum money any one would get is $18,000. As I say, I have 35. We expect that in addition to that 20, maybe today, Another 5 more we expect to go in and sign. The others we expect will go along.
As part of the port project, shops in the area will also need to be removed. PM Gonzalez says 20 shop owners, as well as others who own storage sheds in the area, are to receive compensation for relocation.
You have 20 shops. 18 of them have already signed off in an agreement with the project management. I don't know the final numbers, but there's some structures which, and so on, and people get on some loss of income. You might get between $3,000. Some people have bigger structures, might get up to, a couple of them maybe up to $70,000 for all, you know.
PM Gonzalez says the government also intends to erect a new cruise ship berth in the area of Gished.
But the other end now, when the container port is finished, the old port at Kingston, you see where the carboat comes in there? Vision we have there is that we will put another cruise ship berth there. And we will reclaim some land between Gished and where that is. And we have a good set of land there. We will develop that land with shops, health and wellness, for Vincentians and for tourists, and a nice boardwalk.
And SVG-TV News continues to highlight the top performers at this year's Caribbean Primary Exit Assessment, CPEA. 11-year-old Miles Durant of the Fairhall Government School, who aspires to become a pilot, topped this year's exams for boys and third overall. Durant is also among 3 students who achieved a perfect score of 100% for mathematics. In an interview with SVGTV News, the young lad said he was very surprised when he received his results because he was not expecting to do so well. He also used the opportunity to thank God and all who supported him during his primary school journey.
I feel overjoyed, I feel relieved, and I also feel happy because CPA is over and I can relax. I like to become a pilot because I've always been interested in planes. My support system included my parents and teachers who guided me and motivated me and helped me to stay focused.
Miles' father, Evan Durant, told SVGTV News that he was elated when he received the news of his son's success at the exams.
I am Evan Durant, Miles' father. I am very much elated and proud and relieved that the CPA process is over. I am happy with his performance. I knew he had the potential to perform well, but he exceeded my expectations. He is very focused and disciplined, and a self-starter, dependable. He studied routinely. We ensured that we encouraged him, we supported him, and we also ensured that he found the right balance between work and play.
Durant encouraged other parents to continue to support their children with their education and thank his son's teachers for their hard work.
Advise parents to continue to support and encourage their children. Do not procrastinate. Ensure that projects and assignments are completed on time, and that effective balance between playtime and work is important. I would like to thank God for wisdom and guidance and express thanks to his teachers, grade 5 teachers, Mrs. Bowens and Miss James, and his grade 6 teachers, Miss Boat McLean and Mrs. Hillocks. Their contribution has been valuable, and I want to take this opportunity to express how grateful I am.
Vincentian students Gerard Porter and Abigail Scott have successfully completed degree programs at 2 of the most prestigious schools in the United States. Porter recently graduated from Harvard University with first-class honors, while Scott graduated from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, with several special awards. Our news team spoke with the students about the challenges they face completing their studies.
From being top performers in the CPEA to acing CSC and CAPE examinations, and now graduating top of the class from Harvard University and the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Gerard Porter and Abigail Scott are two Vincentian students who make academic success seem like an afternoon stroll through the botanical gardens. They both attained placements at the institutions after being encouraged to apply by mentors of the student program for innovation in science and engineering. While the heavy workload with frequent assignments put pressure on the young graduates, there was one aspect of U.S. college life that was much harder to get accustomed to.
People are not as friendly as here in St. Vincent. And so I would greet people many times and get back weird stares, like, why is she talking to me? But I was just being polite.
I knew a bit about the culture, but there were still some minor things that we do in St. Vincent I did not know was not done in, or were not done in the US, specifically with manners or walking into a room and saying good morning. That's not really done in the US, or at least at Harvard. And so sometimes I would do that and get strange stares. Or even if there's somebody who's living on the floor that I'm living on and I say hello to them, sometimes they will not reply to me and they heard me, but it's just because they don't. That's not something that you do unless you know somebody personally.
Scott admits she did feel pressure to excel in her program. She was able to rise to the occasion and secure a number of awards, including outstanding research and academic performance, academic excellence in coursework, and she also gained admission into the Phi Beta Kappa Honor Society, the most prestigious honor society in America.
It feels like you're not just representing yourself. It feels like you're representing your family. It feels like you're representing your country. For me, though, I was not the first Vincentian by any means to attend MIT and finish doing well. And so that kind of took the pressure off a bit.
For Porter, he sums up his experience at Harvard in one word: transformative.
It really was transformative in terms of it completely changed my life trajectory, which, of course, once you enter Harvard and then you graduate, the world of opportunity is somewhat open to you. And beyond just the career opportunities, I think it also changed my perspective on many things. I met people of several different religions, and it was just a very eye-opening experience of the diversity that we have in the world, which the Caribbean is very diverse, but also we're very similar. We're all kind of somewhat similar in certain ways, especially, for example, in terms of our beliefs. And so that exposure of different beliefs, I think, definitely transformed my perspective.
Both students will be pursuing a PhD in chemistry in the subfield of chemical biology. Porter says his research focus will be in the area of age-related diseases.
I wanted to apply the fundamental research in chemistry to solving problems in human health, such as solving illnesses that we're going to experience even more as our life expectancy increases, such as Alzheimer's or Parkinson's disease, which right now have no real treatments or even antibiotic resistance. That's going to be a very huge problem in the future.
For students who aspire to the same level of academic success, Scott shares a bit of advice.
I think my advice would be to take time to reflect on yourself and see what kind of area you see yourself studying. Instead of kind of going with the flow or going with your friends or feeling pressured to choose one particular area. I felt pressured to be either an engineer or a doctor just because I was studying science. But those are not the only two things you can do with a degree in science. There's so many other things.
If their past academic performance is anything to go on, both students will definitely excel in their upcoming programs. Reporting for SVG-TV News, Christina Smith.
And Kezron Walters of the Ministry of Legal Affairs came out on top in the inaugural public service speaking competition held last evening. The competition forms part of celebration activities for Public Service Week being held under the theme Charting Our Road to Recovery, Affirming the Sustainable Development. The competition was judged in 3 categories. Walters won both the main and impromptu speech Caddy Samuel of the Ministry of Urban Development copped the prize for Best Creative Wear and second place overall, with Nathaniel Williams third place and Shellyan Alexander fourth. Here is a snippet of Walter's winning presentation on the main topic.
Sustainable development is a big term, which simply means that in the pursuit of economic development, we must not deplete the resources available to the next and the future generations. In other words, there must be a balance so that we do not rob our children of a bright tomorrow. In 2015, the United Nations put together the Sustainable Development Goals, and 193 countries were able to commit to achieving these goals by 2030. A few of these goals are the eliminating of poverty and hunger, access to good health and quality education, access to clean water and sanitation, access to affordable and clean energy, measures to reduce climate change, and the sustainable use and protection of sea resources.
In a brief address, Minister responsible for the public service, Frederick Stevenson, commended the participants and again expressed his disappointment with the level of participation.
It saddens sometimes, and it's really heartbreaking when a department and a ministry and persons in that ministry put forward program of activities and you see persons not interested. It tells you something. There are a lot of work to be done, and I hope that after tonight and after this week of activities, when we go back to our several ministries, persons and in the leadership would sort of say to themselves, my department, my ministry has not been part of what the public service is all about.
The Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force says it has launched an investigation into a video being circulated on social media depicting a man attempting to solicit a 13-year-old student from the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. The RSVG Police Force disassociates itself from Ricardo Robin, the man who is allegedly in the video and whose Facebook profile states that he is a police officer. A news release from the police says Robin is not a serving member of the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force and was never enlisted in the organization. He was, however, a member of the Auxiliary Police Force, and the police say his services were terminated 4 years ago because he failed to function as an effective auxiliary police officer. The RSVG Police Force says it does not condone such acts against children and encourages all parents and guardians to be vigilant and aware of their children's online activities. The organization is also encouraging the general public to report these and other nefarious activities to the police by calling 911, 999, or 784-457-1211. In other news, although there are several unreported cases of domestic violence here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, it remains a major problem in society and affects both women and men. This is according to Minister of Gender Affairs, Randy Brewster, who was addressing the issue on the API's morning talk show program.
Many unreported incidents, because sometimes they're in a situation that they think, not they know, but they think that there is no other avenue for them to get out. And some of them, they stay in that relationship. But it is just as simple as coming to the ministry. We have social workers, we have case workers there that you can sit, you can talk with. I sometimes, do it myself, take time out from my busy schedule to talk to women who may be facing this situation. But don't forget, men get abused too,
Mr. Brewster said that there are instances when persons may, for various reasons, refuse to go to the police. However, they need to know that there are several systems in place through the ministry to assist victims.
If the police is not an avenue, through the ministry, we have developed a crisis center. Over the years, it is out of use now, but we have various locations that we call safe spaces for these women. I can't disclose some of them because they're called safe spaces. Once she comes to the ministry, gender division, you could come into any of the divisions. You could come into social protection, the welfare, as it's commonly called, and any part of the ministry you come and you said, listen, I'm in this situation, and opposite the post office, Gecko building as well. And I usually speak to my staff members when it comes to this, because I am very serious. I do not think that any man should put their hand physically on a woman, unless it's self-defense. But I was listening last night and to one of my favorite speakers, Miles Monroe, and he was saying that it's weak and coward men that would resort to violence against women and girls, because naturally a man is supposed to protect. Instead of being the abuser, you're supposed to protect and love and care for that significant other that you have in your life. But I want to continue from the ministry's level, the educational aspect of getting the message out that women and girls, they have rights. So do men.
Noting both the negatives and positive of helping abuse victims, Minister Brewster said that there are times when social workers will do their best to remove a victim from his or her environment for safekeeping, only to have the victim return to the same place within a matter of days, which in itself is troubling. Despite the drawbacks, Brewster said that there are quite a number of success stories, with some victims taking the time to express their gratitude to the ministry through handwritten letters.
For example, we've had women that who were in situation of domestic abuse. We did all the necessary, put them into a safe space, only for a day or two later, they call. Some of them they call and tell them where to meet them to come and pick them up. And I try to tell my caseworkers and my social workers that we have to try our best to see how we can sort this situation. You do not want to take away their freedom, such as their cell phones and so on. But we detail to them that, listen, the situation. Why are you going to put yourself back into that? I can give you a story of a young lady who came to my office one day through a mutual friend of hers. Pretty girl, but behind the makeup, she was being abused. I took some time out with her. I spoke with her, and I said to her, why are you putting yourself through this? And I asked about the situation at home with her parents, because sometimes, Candyman, some of the parents, they're not hands-on with their love and their care for their children. She was honest enough to say, I'm the one who left home. Mommy didn't do me anything, but sometimes you feel you're a big woman now and you could manage on your own. And fast forward about a few weeks later, and I had a handwritten letter. It said, I was on the verge of suicide. You did not know, but your conversation with me, your encouragement and so on, it made me think differently. And now I'm back home with Mom, and we are working things out.
A poultry farm has been established at the Liberty Lodge Boys Training Center as part of the initiatives to rehabilitate residents. The center caters to boys between ages 7 and 18 who are in need of care and protection and are in conflict with the law. Deputy Director Kenroy Boucher says they are seeking to diversify the curriculum offered at the center. He says the eggs produced from the farm will be used to feed residents and the general public.
I must say that at the center, it's not all about academics. We do academics, but also at the center now we have started our poultry farm, where we have started a poultry farm with 100 boiler birds, starting with our starting of 600, and we're starting our poultry. Also, we are looking into start a layer project where we can produce eggs for the consumption of the boys at the center and for the general public.
The plans for the poultry farm were announced during the classroom handing over ceremony on Tuesday. The classroom upgrade project was funded by the Mustique Charitable Trust at a cost of $5,675. Boucher says students were forced to take lessons in different rooms around the center as their old classroom had fallen into a state of disrepair.
Before this classroom we have here, there was a building which housed the classroom on the ground of the center, but that building was dilapidated, and the boys were scattered across upstairs and downstairs to do their academics. We know that the classroom will go a long way in making it comfortable for the boys at the center in doing their academics. Part of the classroom also was the construction of a small library, where we have for our small library, where we look at getting some books to fit the library for the boys as they go on.
And Chairman of the Carnival Development Corporation, Ricardo Adams, says that the Miss SVG pageant this year will not be possible without financial assistance of the sponsors. Adams was at the time addressing the unveiling and sashing ceremony at the Murray Heights Hotel in Kingston for the 8 contestants who will be competing for the title of Miss SVG 2022. The CDC chair also noted that after a long wait, Vincy Mars will kick into high gear this Friday, June 24th.
To the week where we officially launch Vincy Mars 2022. She is here with us again. And I think we've been waiting for quite a long time for that to happen. And finally, on Friday, we will see the return of Vincy Mars. I've had a look at the sponsors, and one of the things that pleases me is the fact that this year we have 3 brand new sponsors who, as far as I'm aware, have never been on the sponsorship roster before. And that says that Avia and her team are doing something right by being able to attract new sponsors. That in no way means that we cherish any less our sponsors who have stood by us over the years. There are some people from the time you say that you're having an event, they will readily put up their hands, and we know that they are going to be with us as partners. And so we really appreciate all of the sponsors, because everybody says it, but it's absolutely true. Without the sponsors, we wouldn't have a Miss SVG.
And Minister of Culture Carlos James said, unfortunately, some of the pageant's long-standing sponsors opted out this year, but as a result of the excellent work being done by the Beauty Shows Committee, they were able to secure new sponsorship for the pageant.
The chairman of the CDC mentioned that we have some new sponsors this year, and you will note the omission of some of the long-standing sponsors of the Miss SVG pageant. Some of the sponsors decided that this year they would opt out, and for various reasons, some of them, one of the reasons given, well, they didn't get a chance to select the individual whom they want to sponsor, which I think is a ridiculous point to make when we're all in support of every woman who put on a sachet today. All of them are representing St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and they're doing so proudly. And it's a very unfortunate incident where that occurred, but I'm hoping that the sponsors who step up and took that important role in their corporate responsibility will no doubt be pleased that they have some beautiful ambassadors who are intelligent, smart, and can represent this country quite well.